If you don't mind, can I start with Mimi Cat?
Sure,
The obvious question, is that your real name?
Well, it could be, but no. The name comes from the junction of actually two names. In my family, the children call their grandmothers Mimi, so I've been a Mimi for a lot of years now. And but Mimi for me wasn't enough to describe me as an artist. So I added the cat. That comes from the most personal part, and I do love cats. And a lot of people say, "Oh, you got like a cat eye," and I thought, okay, maybe that works. Well, I wrote this song about 10 years ago in a house. I worked in real estate for a long time, and I was waiting for a client actually, and I was sitting with my legs crossed, looking at the ceiling on the floor. And it literally came out just like, coração. And the minute I said this, okay, so I knew I had something there. And in 5 minutes, the song just came out of me, which never happens. It takes me like forever to write a song. But this was actually the first one that took me like 5 minutes to write because it was so natural, you know, the words just came out of my mouth naturally. And then I thought immediately about giving it away to other singers because it was not my thing. At the time I only sang in English and it was very bluesy, very jazzy, R&B-ish kind of vibe. I was releasing my first album and it had nothing to do with me, so I waited, but I never gave it away because my husband insisted, don't give the song away, don't give the song away. And I waited up until I started singing in Portuguese. And when I did decide to give it a shot at production, we came to this kind of Costurica kind of vibe slash a march, a popular march in Portugal, and I didn't like it, but that was the demo I submitted to Festival da Canção, and I was really happy when they said that I could change the arrangements, and you know, we changed it, and it is what we all know. Yeah, that's the story.
You. We'll come back in a minute, I think, to talk a little bit more about that. So Remo, welcome.
Thank you.
You're kind of no stranger, even though you're a very young man, you're no stranger to these big platforms, really. You've done some important TV programs, you've been on competitions like The Voice. How does this compare, and how are you kind of dealing with having to be on such an enormous stage with such a huge audience?
I think it was a good preparation also to be like in a show than The Voice, because I experienced different things like working with cameras, working on a big stage, and I think, yeah, those are things you can compare, but Eurovision is something completely different. It's much bigger, the stage is also huge, and the fan community, the fan base, or the bubble as we say, is like crazy going on, so I appreciate to be part of it.
And I guess none of you guys have actually been in the arena with a full house yet.
Definitely not. So I think it's already now when it's empty, it's like kind of incredible to be there, and I can't wait to be there with a lot of fans shouting out. Yeah.
Now your song is, there's a bit of a tradition now with Switzerland entering these very moody ballads. They've been quite successful. They're quite unique. It's also related to current events. It's an anti-war themed song, isn't it? Do you think that's you're capturing really the spirit of the age with this song?
Yeah, maybe kind of. I think the story tells a very sad story, and it tells of a boy who was playing with water guns as a child, and I think all of us played with water guns when we were young, and we enjoyed it, and we did it without thinking about anything serious. And so I'm 21, and it's the age in Switzerland where you go to the Swiss Army, and when I heard the song for the first time, I was not the writer of it, I just picked it up, and I heard it, and I was pretty sure, because it's the age where you go to Swiss Army in Switzerland, and the thought about that other people in this age are in the situation that they have to fight for their lives, fight for their family, which is very hard, catched me, and that was the moment when I was sure, okay, it's the song I want to sing on the big Eurovision stage.
Thank you. And Wild Youth, so we need the names. So Connor,
yes.
David,
He's actually
no,
ill.
no.
David's not well. So, but I'm Ed anyway. So I'm also in the band, so I'm not a stand-in.
It's our tour manager.
And then we have Carl, who has the attention span of a goldfish.
So welcome, guys. Now you've had experience of big stages as well. You've supported some major acts and in big arenas. How does this compare?
I think it's totally different. It's like, you know, normally on shows that we've done, if it's our own show, it's an hour and 20 minutes. If it's a support show, it's 40 minutes. I think, you know, getting used to just 2 minutes and 55 seconds on, off, there's no time to kind of warm into it. It's like, it has to be like straight away. Which is interesting, but I think we did like all the pre-parties, so I think that kind of really helped us adapt to kind of this way of performing. Also, it's, you know, it's quite unique to be performing a lot to camera. Like, we've obviously done TV before where it's like Dancing with the Stars or something and you do the music act, but to try and focus on your performance, focus on all the cameras, take everything in. So
Is it distracting?
No, it just takes a bit of getting used to it, I think.
Yeah. And you got one of the best costumes this year, has to be said. The gold costume is pretty cool.
Oh, thank you.
So how's that working out for you? You enjoying wearing that?
I assume you're talking about mine, yeah?
I would be lying if I told you it was enjoyable to wear. It's incredibly tight and heavy and a total pain to go to the toilet. Honestly, it's like 3 people in, like taking it down, spanks, everything. It's
I'm not
a
one of
fucking
those
nightmare.
So we're going to be watching. If you leave the green room, you're going to be gone for like half an hour.
If anyone sees me leaving the bathroom with 4 people, I'm just going to the toilet.
So, and the guys, Terralta and Turan. So this is quite unique. I'm not sure if we've had twins competing before. You, the story goes, you kind of entered this really speculatively. And did you think 6 months ago, at the beginning of this journey, that you would find yourself here in Liverpool and about to be on the big European Eurovision stage?
No, I have no idea about it. Actually, it just started with this song that we just wrote it like 1 year ago, and we didn't even think about like, oh, right. I just sent it like, okay, like, you know, randomly, we say. It was just, I saw this advertisement of Eurovision in Instagram. In our country said, you can send your own song and you can go to Eurovision, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, and why not? And then I did it, and they chose us, and they were selected, and amazing.
And do you think this will be a platform really for changing your career now?
Of course. This is like the, you know, it's a trampoline. What do you say? It's like for me it's like a beginning of everything for my career. And it's the best beginning ever. it's cool.
And obviously, being twins, you have a special relationship. And do you think that helps you to deal with the stresses of being here? Can you support each other? What do you do to kind of cope with the stresses and strain?
You know, here's the thing about having a twin. It's like when you get stressed in the process, and you just, when you go to your hotel room and stuff, you can just scream at someone, and like that feels good sometimes to, you know, get your anger from out of someone. but it's good, you know. It's my brother, and I like.
I also know him so better, and he's knowing me like. Yeah, we know each other.
You understand each other completely.
Yeah, understanding each other completely.
Yeah.
That's why it's so easy to, I don't know, get the stress away.
And for you guys being in a band, does that help that you, or does it cause extra stress?
Yeah.
I just want to say as well, you did Jedward a big disservice there. You said there hasn't been twins.
Oh my God, I did. Whoops. Nice. And they're coming here next week. Yeah. There haven't been Azeri twins.
What? Sorry.
Do you think you as a group, does that help supporting each other, or does it actually create more tension?
Oh, of course. I think, and I know probably every band in the world says this, but I think even people who are, we've done the pre-parties with will tell you, we actually are like best friends. So, yeah. I think to have that support network and just kind of, it's such a lovely thing, and to be able to just kind of talk and go for food together and kind of just wind down like after a day, and because when you're in the Eurovision you're very in it, you know what I mean? So like I go back and I'm talking to my friends, I'm like, does this pre-party? They're like, yeah, whatever. They're just like, yeah. So like we just kind of stay in our bubble, and it's always lovely to have people to talk to.